Hello everyone, welcome to Swahili Kingdom. Hamjambo nyinyi nyote, karibuni katika Swahili Kingdom. So today I'm going to answer a question that was asked by one of you in this channel. So he asked, I'm sorry I forgot his name, but I'm going to attach the screenshot here in this video. So he asked, how can you learn Swahili? How can you learn Swahili? And I am intentionally using English because I want most of you to understand. But in some parts, I'm going to use Swahili and I'm going to include subtitles. So when you hear something, when you hear some part that I'm speaking in Swahili, just press the button for subtitles and check for your English translations. Okay, so he was asking, how do you learn Swahili? I understood him because most people just get into Swahili and start learning things all over. And that is the story that I've been telling you what happened to me when I started learning Tagalog, which is Filipino, the language that is spoken in the Philippines. I didn't know where to start from. I didn't know how to learn it. I didn't know what to do. So I understood him when he talked about that, when he asked that question. So this is what I answered him, a straight answer, but I want to explain further in this video. So this is what I answered him. If you want to learn Swahili, listen, write, read, listen, write, read, listen, write, read, and slowly by slowly start speaking. If you can note the order, I started with listen, write, read, and start slowly by slowly to speak. Okay, so let's start by this. Let's start by saying any language has these four parts. There is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So you need to have all of these skills because each of these skills enhances the other. But you need to know with which skill you need to start with. So with me, I start with listening. Listening. Okay, so when you listen to the language, you gain more competencies. Like for instance, when you listen and maybe you hear a word being pronounced, when you see that word somewhere, you can read it without knowing it that you read correctly, and maybe you read it correctly because you had heard it somewhere. Okay, so I usually start with listening, then go to writing. You can start with maybe writing how your day was, writing maybe what is in your room. Just write anything. Start with even writing 2 lines, like write 1 line full stop, then the other line full stop. The next day go to 3 lines, or maybe start with 1 line. Okay, just teach yourself how to write. Then you can go to reading. Read, and when you read, write the summary of the things that you've written. Most of the books or most of the storybooks will give you a story, maybe a short story and a summary. So when you see that summary, write that summary. By the way, Busy Bee Swahili has Swahili storybooks, 2 of them. We have Maria Mwanamke wa Ajabu and Maria Mwanamke wa Ajabu and Nyama Choma. Nyama Choma talks about 2 siblings who went to Kenya, who came from America and went to Kenya and got lost because they were looking for a hotel named Nyama Choma because they wanted to taste the Nyama Choma that they have had. It has been trending, Nyama Choma, and then they wanted to taste Nyama Choma from that hotel named Nyama Choma Palace. And then Maria Mwanamke wa Ajabu is about a woman who goes on a journey with her friends and then finds something, she disappears. People get worried about her. She's so hardworking. And then at last, everything gets to normal. And each of those stories have summary. So when you read a chapter of a story, a chapter is maybe 1 to 2 pages. When you read a chapter of the story, it has a summary. So just copy that summary down, write that summary, then you can read that summary out loud. When you read that summary, you are teaching yourself, or you are acquiring the skills of speaking. Okay? One of the rules in the natural approach says comprehension precedes speaking. Comprehension precedes speaking. So you need to understand first before you will be able to speak. That is one of the problems why people say that they understand but they cannot speak. Or maybe when someone talks to them, they can understand what that person is saying, but they cannot answer back. Why? Because you've been learning by translation. Like your brain is automatic. It knows when someone says this, you need to answer that. But when it reaches to a point that you are maybe exchanging stories with someone and you cannot answer them back because your brain is used to that, you have not gotten enough input. Okay, and when you understand is when you will start speaking. So that's why I told you, you start by listening, go to writing, go to reading, and then the next step, you can start speaking slowly by slowly. Maybe you can record yourself saying something in Swahili. Just start with maybe 30 seconds. Start with 30 seconds, maybe saying, hamjambo, karibu. Just start with something small that will give you confidence to continue going. Don't start from anywhere. As I've always been saying, if you are a beginner, start with beginner. Listen to small things. Don't go listen to maybe let's say a conversation about, let's say, farming, a conversation about like a deep conversation in a certain language, let's say in Swahili, because we are talking about Swahili. Don't go listen to a certain conversation in a certain wide topic and you're just a beginner. Those are some of the things for intermediates and advanced. They can listen to those things. But if you are a beginner, go to these small things. Maybe you can watch a funny clip. The way you watch funny clips in English, go watch funny clips in Swahili. Those are some of the things that will increase, okay, will speed up the input that you are getting, will speed up how you comprehend the input that you are getting. Okay, and I forgot to tell you that if you get the 2 books, if you get any of the ebook that I have told you, we'll be meeting every Saturday on Discord to discuss the books for you to get more comprehension, for you to get more input. Okay, because I want people to get input. I want my students to be getting a lot of input so that they can comprehend and it will be easier for them to start speaking. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you've gotten something that will help you. So when you start learning a language, start with listening. Listen. And what else? Even polyglots advise on this, start speaking from day 1. Okay? Maybe when you are listening and you hear something, maybe let's say in Swahili, you hear something like jambo, start speaking from that day. Go and say jambo. Like there is this song in Swahili and jambo, they sing jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani, nzuri sana. So maybe when you listen to a song like that, you can just go ahead singing that song, jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani, even if you are not pronouncing those words correctly. Like when I listen to my first videos, I have kept some of the videos that I was recording when I was learning Tagalog or Spanish in my beginning days. When I listen to them, sometimes I just laugh because they are ugly. I was worse. Some pronunciations are just logical, but I didn't get it. Like the Spanish ña, I was pronouncing na. Like it was hell. So even if you don't pronounce something correctly, don't worry. Keep on pronouncing. Tuonane tena. Kwaheri.